Climate Channel is covering UN Climate Change Conference. Watch for updates.
COP30 Brazil. Just the second day, very early time, but still the things are now gradually developing. So at this point of time, it's very important to talk to somebody who perhaps knows it all, what's happening and how it will be kind of opening up in the coming days. I have with me my very dear friend Harjeet Singh, one of the frontline climate activist and I would say climate pusher at the global level. And Harjeet, it's early days, but how do you see the key issues like loss and damage, like finance overall, like just transition kind of panning out during the COP? What's your take at this point of time? In the coming days it will be clearer, but at this point of time.
Jinder, thank you for having me. Like we say for every other COP, this is also an important COP. There are a number of things on the agenda. But we want this COP to be remembered a place where we actually took a real decision of moving away from fossil fuels. Now, we need to understand that the technical negotiations may be challenging. We already got a decision at COP28. But what we have been missing is a plan to transition away from fossil fuels.
Right.
And the reason I feel a little bit more optimistic this time, not until a week ago, but when I hear President Lula committing that we need a roadmap to phase out fossil fuels, or he's using the language of transitioning away. And then there is a declaration that's moving around right now as we speak from Colombia, which is also a commitment to phase out fossil fuels and go for a just transition. And we know that unless and until we have a mechanism for just transition, we will not be able to do that. So for us as civil society, we are trying to tie things together. We want a mechanism on just transition, and we are calling it BAM, a BELEM action mechanism. And that should support countries like India, Indonesia, South Africa, the big economies who are stuck with fossil fuels, who are willing to move away, but they don't have resources and the support. So that's one. And we also need to make sure that the money is available for that. So finance is going to be, I would say, the second biggest issue.
Which you now have the Baku to the roadmap.
The plan that was submitted by two presidencies, Azerbaijan and Brazil, it's not inspiring, to be honest. It is a menu card. It is not instructive. It doesn't say that we need to make sure that it's grant-based money or money that is coming from non-debt creating instruments, because we can't add to the debt crisis by just saying private sector money or loans from multilateral development banks. So that is a bit problematic. But we need to make sure that we have concrete decision on finance, and that's why, again, as we speak, developing countries are fighting for 9.1, which is the article that talks about public finance from developed countries. And that demand is getting stronger by the day, because developing countries have understood that developed countries are only calling the term mobilization, which is largely private finance or loans, which is not helping. And third, I think we should look at the climate impact agenda. Now, of course, we are looking at adaptation indicators related to GGA, Global Goal Adaptation, and it may not get agreed. Of course, there are 100 indicators. It is a bit technical. But the most important there also is finance, because developing countries have prepared their plans and money is missing. And on loss and damage, as you rightly said, it's all about finance. The good thing is we have welcomed the launch of the call for proposals by the Loss and Damage Fund, but that's not enough. It's a tiny amount of money, and I would say a quarter of 1% what is required. We need hundreds of billions of dollars, and we need a guidance from the COP to the board that you are also not meeting your mandate in terms of scale, in terms of becoming a rapid response fund, or ensuring community access. So there's a lot of an unfinished agenda at the fund as well. So finance is at the core.
Okay, sorry. And so far you are reasonably happy the way presidency and Brazil, because always I have seen in so many COPs the role of presidency and the role of host country very important. So how do you see so far the role of the host country and the presidency so far? Early days again.
Well, on the substance, I would say it's a mix. When we heard President Lula committing to just transitioning away from fossil fuels and calling for a roadmap, I hope the presidency really follows through.
Right.
That is where we see a bit of momentum, and with Colombia coming forward. But at the same time, Brazil is also talking about biofuels, and we know that biofuels have their own impact. That needs to be sorted. They've also come up with a forest funding mechanism which has a lot of problems in terms of private sector engagement, and it's not a real money, and the scale is very small, and there are many more. So at this moment we do see that presidency is recognizing that they have to lead on certain things, but on finance I see it's really not getting there.
My final question was the role of US, or rather should I say the impact of US moving away from the Paris Agreement, moving away from the European procedure. So how do you see that happening, how that impacting the global process and the global decision making about this transaction?
So US is not at the table when it comes to Paris Agreement, but US is everywhere. So their absence doesn't mean that they are not being discussed. Their influence is massive. People are scared because the way they try to overturn or delay the decision of IMO, International Maritime Organization, recently, that is scary. But now we are also seeing the bold leadership coming from Brazil, from Colombia. They are standing up to that challenge. Of course, US has been an obstructionist, not only here, it has been 30 years.
Are they doing it here as well?
Not right now, but I'm sure they'll be doing it if they see a concrete decision coming out on phasing out fossil fuels. So that fear is there, but we need to stand up to the challenge. And I would also like to distinguish very quickly, US administration is what, sometimes when we say US is US administration. But here we are also seeing that states are here, businesses are here who are recommitting themselves and telling the world that they are on board, because they know that it's in their favor as well. So I think we need to make sure that US is not able to jeopardize, and that's why we need strong leadership.
I think that kind of reminds me what happened after US under Trump first moved away from the Paris Agreement. I think I still remember there's a huge store and huge kind of disposition where it was mentioned that we are still in. So that's it. Early days. I discussed with Harjeet what's going to happen. So very clear kind of pointers have come up with them. Let's see how the things pan out in the future. Thank you from the Plurals and the Climate TV channel, Canada.
Thank you.